Right on, man. I want to dive straight in. You have an interesting story, and I think before we get into what you are currently up to, I would love to kind of go back in time a little bit and see what it is that brought you to a new understanding of yourself, for one, self-discovery, as well as your health. And the story, we can pull it up right away. Made it to Collective Evolution. It's a really interesting story about how wheatgrass changed your life. And look at this. You said that this is a pretty dark story, and they had to soften some of the language and kind of like massage it to fit their audience a little bit better. So I say let's go back to the unedited version and tell the audience what was really going on, man. You know, this is real and this is real life, and hopefully the story can connect with some other people dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, man, it's I used to play minor pro hockey and had a lot of fun doing it. Got caught smoking cannabis. Like I made it to the OHL, then got caught smoking cannabis, and they sent me down to the minors. And I just was trying to find myself. I didn't really do much in the way of work except for like raving and making money through the rave scene in different ways and shapes and form. And after a while, like I needed to get a proper legitimate job. So I started working in collections, made my way up to manager of a pre-legal collection agency during the collapse actually in 2008 and 2007, 2008. Didn't really like working for other people. And so I started a debt settlement business, which basically, did the opposite of collecting money. I was helping people to settle their debts, protect their house, protect their assets. Because a lot of people didn't know, like in some cases, you don't even have to pay your credit card bill at all, depending on, the situation and whatnot. So, made a lot of money. I was still partying really hard, was, hard drugs. Like I liked uppers, cocaine was my drug of choice. And then it slipped into different things like crack cocaine, methamphetamine, and took me down a really dark tunnel. It got to the point, when it all sort of imploded was September 21st, 2012. I remember the date really well. Actually, it was the end of a 10-day meth binge while I was working and doing everything at the same time. And I just, I was up, and I was doing work at the same time, just like basically working through the day and then partying at nighttime and not sleeping at all. And smoked a bong of this sour diesel. I'll never forget it, sour diesel. And for the first time ever, like I thought I was having a heart attack, and I like collapsed to the ground. I couldn't breathe. My chest was killing. And leading up to that point as well, because my body had so much chemicals and so much toxins in them, I literally had, I can't remember, I think it was like 13 different boils growing in different lymph nodes out my body, like huge welts that you couldn't even pop. You know what I mean? Like I had to go to the doctor and get antibiotics. Then they had to cut them, let the pus run out, and it, just a very, very unpleasant scene visually, but physically so uncomfortable. And I mean, like really, really uncomfortable spots below the belt, underneath the armpit, behind the ears, and so just going through that process. Went to the hospital, blood work, ECGs. I had yellow skin at the time. I didn't really know what was happening, but I knew it wasn't good. A little bit of gray in the eyes and everything like that. And it turned out I was diagnosed with second stage kidney failure. I had jaundice, extreme anxiety, extreme depression, boils growing at the lymph nodes because the body couldn't detox itself. And I also had like a really, really bad case of eczema and psoriasis. Like I sort of looked like a snake shedding skin all the time. And it was just, again, it was not a pleasant feeling or sight. And went to the hospital, Markham Stouffville Hospital. They did the blood work, the ECGs. That's how they found out everything. And, they proposed for me to quit doing drugs. And they did that by prescribing me pharmaceutical drugs. So I had this whacked out prescription of clonazepam, lorazepam, Ativan, a few different antibiotics. And, the other thing too is when you're doing drugs like that and you're not eating, at the time, when I was in the hospital, I weighed about 136 pounds soaking wet with all those issues and everything like that. So they gave me the drugs, and I was game to take them to try and change my life. And believe it or not, within I think it was about a 40-day period of taking Ativans every morning and lorazepams and then clonazepams at nighttime, I went from 136 pounds to just shy of 200 pounds. And it got to the point where it actually became suicidal. And I made the attempt, and found myself back up in the hospital. And it was a weird, a divine. I don't know how you want to label it. I don't know what type of word you want to use in the English or any type of vocabulary, but I go through that process. I'm trying to find myself after getting out of the hospital the second time, and I'm in Toronto at this park bench, and this lady sits down beside me. Her name is Angie Cannabis, and she just put her hand on my arm and asked, because I was sitting there like looking sad. And she put her hand on my arm, and then all of a sudden started telling me like things that Facebook didn't even know. All right. Before I got banned from Facebook and whatnot, I had a huge Facebook account. I had 20,000 followers just on my personal page, and I would post about everything. But there was things that she knew about me that was impossible to know. Even my parents didn't know about these things. So I gravitated towards her. Like I was like, tell me more. Like I was interested. How do you know these things? And, some of the things that she went over with me is, how to decalcify my pineal gland, how I can cure the things that they told me were incurable, that I had to take drugs for the rest of my life. She showed me how to detox my body and alkalize my body after it's been detoxed, or alkalize through the process of detoxification. And, and then a random synchronicity of events. A neighbor of mine knew me my whole life, knew that I was a partier and everything like that, and knew that I was turning over a new leaf. He came by with 100 ounces of frozen wheatgrass juice, dropped it off, said, this is how you take it. If you don't take it, give it back, because I don't want to waste it. There's other people that, can benefit from this. And if you really, truly want to make a difference, this is how you do it. And so I started, and it tasted horrible, and it was gross to me. I would just try and get it down first thing in the morning. I was drinking 1 ounce, which is 2 cubes, and we'll go over that stuff a little bit later if there's any questions about it. But after 30 days of religiously doing this every day, I started to gradually take more and more and take it more throughout the day. So 90 days after coming out of the hospital the second time, I went back to the Markham Silva Hospital for the blood work and the ECGs. And I had been documenting my experiences on YouTube. I had never really done YouTube before at that point. And went back to the hospital, same doctor, blood work, ECGs, everything. And the guy said to me, he's like, well, we must have misdiagnosed you, because it's impossible to reverse kidney failure. And it's impossible to, change these things with your skin, the psoriasis, all these things, especially in a 90-day period. But, for the rest of your life, it's impossible to remove kidney failure once you're, at those stages. And I was like, well, no, I was definitely hurting. And I was, here's the pictures and here's the reports. And my sister was going through pre-med at the time too. So she was reading the blood works, and she's like, Justin, this is not good. At the time, like when I got diagnosed. And then, so I showed them the YouTube videos, and I was like, look, you can see day 1, day 2, day 3, day 30, day 60. And the guy was like, look, you got to delete those. The doctor, I forget what his name is off the top of my head, but I got it on the charts. He said, you got to delete those. You're giving false and misleading information about medicine. And I was like, well, I'm not talking about medicine. I'm talking about my healing experience. And this is the road that I took through that healing experience. And we had and I was like, you need to be telling more people about this, because I was like so blown away how it changed my life. Like it literally, and there's still a few videos up on YouTube in my personal account that that I didn't have to delete, but not long after that, about 2 weeks after, I get a letter in the mail from Health Canada. And they threatened, they wanted me to delete all the YouTube videos that I had done from my healing process, claiming that I was claiming to be a doctor, and that I was giving medical advice, which is totally not the case. It was literally, my experience, and I wasn't using words like cure. I was using words like heal. And So, that was sort of like the tipping point for me where I was like, look, I'm going to get out of finance. I'm going to get into health and wellness, and I need to be able to get into media or some way to convey this message and share it with other people. Because, if I can help even just one person go, heal whatever they're going through by allowing them to learn about the processes that I use, then that's great. And so that was the switch. And it was, December 21st, funny enough, like how all these things line up. But it was just before December 21st, 2012, when I went to see the doctors about for the checkup and the clean bill of health and everything like that. And then moving into January 2013 was where everything changed. And and then fast forward to now, I've been connected with collective evolution and truth theory. I've traveled through Europe and spoke at conferences, which I didn't even think that these things would be possible, let alone dream of them. But just been sort of blessed to be connected with great people, people that inspire me, and be able to inspire other people at the same time, sort of like a pay it forward way. And hence that's why with isellgrass.com, which is our webpage for people to access the raw and pasteurized wheatgrass throughout Canada and US, we don't even take a dime of the money that we make through the affiliate program. Everything that we do earn from there, we end up buying wheatgrass and donating it to people that are less fortunate, people that are fighting cancer, people that have some serious issues. And the odd time too, we'll buy Rick Simpson oil or Phoenix tears, depending on the severity of the cancer level, and the person, if they want to choose to try to go down the natural route rather than like chemotherapy and all those other things that basically kill every cell in your body.
Make sure y'all head over to benjosephstewart.com, become a member. You'll have access to the growing library of deeper dives where I talk about all the stuff that I really can't talk about on YouTube. Make sure you get involved in the Discord chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening, talking about new theories, being able to interweave into the greater conversation that is how we awaken infinity. That's our highest potential. And I just want to remind you, you are the most powerful technology ever known to creation. Wield it like an artist with a conscience.